Hello, hello. Welcome back. We just got a new item in for the downstairs setup, and it is the exact same unit that we put upstairs, and it solved a lot of my problems upstairs. Adding this particular light. Other UV units I had were just too weak. This thing is incredibly strong. Let's have a closer look at it. That's how it comes out of the box. It's only $20 Canadian, so it may even be $12 US. I mean, it's dirt cheap. Here we go. Now, as you can see, the filament in there. Okay, this is not like those. Those use a fluorescent light. And fluorescent lights actually don't throw the lumens very far off the bulb. Now that unit's designed to bring the water in really close to the bulb to accommodate for that. But this is nickel metal halide filament, and it will throw the lumens really far off the bulb. So the effective range is much further, and you're actually going to hit more water. And because the intensity of the light off the nickel metal halide filament is so strong, it doesn't sterilize your water. It's not a UV filter, in the sense that this is a UV filter. There's no sterilization whatsoever. It just keeps the water clear. This sterilization would be the next step up from that. Okay, this is a step up from sterilization. This disinfects your water. So, so happy I found this product. Should last 4 to 6 months, and then you just replace the whole unit. Let me show you exactly where I plan to put this. I think it's an awesome spot. It's going to fit just right, and it's going to hit every speck of water that runs through the system. Okay, so this is where we put it. I plugged it in, and these are my this is my barrels. All my systems are linked through this barrel, through these barrels. That's why you can see all this stuff here. It's all about getting the water around to the other tanks. And then these two tanks to our left, they're connected through these pipes, like this. They're just using gravity and pipes. And these other tanks use pumps to get things around. So anyhow, in the water flows from the barrel and through this pipe into the tank down here. As you can see, it's flowing in there just fine. And what we've done is we've put the light in this pipe and just pull it out a little bit so we can see it. Appears to be snagging. Okay. As you can see, it's running. I don't want to blind myself, so we're going to push that back in. Now, it's a very narrow spot. And the UV is so intense that every drop of water that goes through there will get sterilized. So, yeah, that's the plan. That's how it's going to work. And I'll just put my lid back up here. Oops, wrong side. Doing this one-handed. It's kind of weird. Okay. There we go. We just keep it covered because we want to keep the evaporation down. And we want to keep the heat in. That's what that's all about. Just using what I got. So compared to boxes, they're definitely both the same unit. And same SKU, same everything. So you know, watch that because they have different sizes. The light on down there today because I got a few plants trying to propagate, like right there, and there's a couple back there, just little ones, and then I got some floating ones up there. So just doing what I can to get some plant life into the equation. Eventually this will be a planted tank down here to help fight algae and keep the water better. And these guys, quick peek at them. Oh, he's doing great. Loving those white. They're just so white and so black. They're holding their color as they grow. Very nice looking fish. This tank just stands by for future needs. I keep it rolling. So with sponge filter and a heater in case I should need to separate a fish or have an emergency. Boom, I have this tank ready. As well as that tank. Let's go have a look at the Oscars. As you can see, peace is being maintained. All of my little silver dollars are still alive. Everybody's in perfect health. Her wound is closed on her forehead. I never like seeing head wounds on these fish because they're so vulnerable to bacterial infections. They can get hole in the head real easy from the injuries. So I was a little worried for a little bit, but the water's so clean, it's not an issue. But you never know. The tank is heavily stocked, and I just made sure I kept everything real clean. She may have learned her lesson. She hasn't jumped out over the crossbar lately. This little guy was doing it a lot too, and actually I think I see he's hurt himself again, so he hasn't learned his lesson. He's a little beat up, so he did it again last feeding. But it doesn't seem to bother them. He's perfectly healthy. He just scuffed his forehead. He's growing good too. He's gonna be a beautiful fish. They all really are beautiful fish. I've done when it comes to getting lucky on quality Oscars, I definitely got lucky. I mean, Sly has a deformed mouth, but he's still gorgeous. Oh, I love this tank. Just gorgeous. Making Oscars great again. That's the new theme. Discus have always been great. Discus are the greatest. I think Oscars have been getting a bad rap, and I want to show people that they're really a good fish. They're not these big evil monsters. See, that's the worst of it right there. Just a little bit of bossiness. And that's because the lemon's got a chip on his shoulder. But he's also that age. They seem to be like that around that age. As they get bigger and they mature, they slow down. They get less like that. My other ones were doing that too, around that size. And they've stopped. It didn't take them long, but I don't know. If I'm going to have a problem fish, it will be this lemon. But he's too small to be a problem right now, so maturity might sort that out, and it probably will. Sly has always been chill. Sly doesn't like to fight. Sly did get hurt. You can see he's hurt there. A little scrape up his side and his forehead. That's what happens when they catch that bar. You just have to learn not to do that, and I have to learn to put the food in places they're not. But it floats by, and
if he just happens to jump at that time, it's not a good scene. They're fasting today, and tomorrow I'll feed them Pacific shrimp, human grade. They enjoy it. They're still a little iffy on it because they're not used to it, but they eat it. They just don't like attack it right away. They kind of look at it for a bit, then they try it. So, but it's really good food for them, and I will continue feeding it a couple times a week because I'm hoping the shrimp is going to make the orange look more red. I'm not sure I bought the right shrimp for it, but we'll find out. I think it doesn't matter what shrimp you get. But next time I'm going to buy the Argentinian red shrimp. This time I bought the Pacific shrimp because they were half the price. Normally it's the same price, so. But they're on special, so I grabbed them. Let's have a look at the discus. And here we have the snakeskin female and her man. I just put them in maybe half an hour ago. They went straight to laying eggs. I think they laid some in the main tank and I didn't notice, but what I noticed was the eel going up to eat them. So I'm not sure how big the brood will be, but they're in there and they're doing their thing. And the main tank, gorgeous as always. Tomorrow, this tank's getting a water change, gravel vac, filter cleanings. It's weekly deep clean. And I want to point out that by now my rear glass would be, even my sides would be algae covered. Typically, like not much different than downstairs, but because I changed the lighting, the problem is now downstairs with the lighting. And it has ceased to exist up here. So I got constant messages over the months telling me that my phosphates were too high and that, no, my lights were too bright. Period. And the spectrum they used was probably conducive to algae. These lights are a lot dimmer, which makes my discus happy because my other lights were probably too bright. It would have been a stress factor. It might have been contributing to his health issues as well. So now with the dimmer light, less stress, cleaner water with the UV down here, still running strong, and yeah, we're getting her done. So my hope now is that this next batch of discus eggs will produce something, but I don't think they've failed enough times this pair to expect anything too grand to come out of them. At some point, they will learn to latch their babies. Once that happens, the ball starts rolling. And I'm knocking on the door, folks. So, stay tuned. We're going to have some discus babies. Once again, we've had babies live almost a week here. But, again, the parents haven't figured out to collect them and latch them. They actually do that. They'll collect them up and show the babies where they need to be. So, and once the babies learn, they learn, right? But it's that step that the parents need to figure out. And it's a slow process, but we'll get there. When we're there, oh boy, things will get interesting around here. My upgrade cadence is going to slow down because we're getting into the expensive part of winter forming, and all of the costs of energy are going to increase very shortly, pretty much just after Christmas. I mean, they've been increasing every year, but now we're gonna see a huge jump again because of all this carbon tax nonsense. So yeah, upgrades slowing down. Won't be able to get much more progress than I've gotten done this spring and summer, but we are moving along, and Like I always say, Rome was not built in a day, and neither will my discus breeding operation be. Now, if I was a millionaire, I could just go out and buy a bunch of adult fish, and I would have been into babies immediately, or close to immediately, if I had enough fish, there would have been pairs. But that's not the way I'm doing things. So we're gonna build the business from nothing, with next to nothing, and all I need is time. So that UV downstairs will be probably the only upgrade we'll be posting this month. And that's okay. We've got enough fish going on, enough activity going on to keep things interesting. But there's a lot more in the in the pipes. I'm collecting materials for the next project. I'll keep you a little bit in the dark for that for now, because I don't know when I'm going to get to it. But there's tanks. There's tanks sitting in my storage area, and there's stuff for breeding stations, basically. So, as it stands right now, I'm a step ahead of the available pairs. I have 2 breeding stations. I have 4 more I could build. I could gear up. So it's just a matter of getting the fish there at this point. That's all we need to do. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great evening.